Good afternoon. So this afternoon, I wanted to talk about the engineering design brief for just a few minutes. This will be a short presentation. Okay. And the engineering design brief is a great way to integrate language and literature into science, engineering, and mathematics. So the first thing I want to do, let me see if I can get this so you can all read it. Back it up a little. Okay. So I think you can all read it now. Is basically the engineering design brief is a great way to integrate any type of language or literature that you can create a problem or a challenge for. So let me talk about that for a minute. So let's say that I'm going to read the nursery rhyme, The Itsy Bitsy Spider. And I read that nursery rhyme to my students. And then I say to the students, so maybe can you think of a way that the itsy bitsy spider could not get washed away when it climbs up the water spout? What might protect the spider? So you read the story first, you present that problem to the students, and then you put them into teams and you ask them to create something, and you can have all kinds of materials available to them. And these can be just things that you've collected, scraps and toilet paper rolls and pipe cleaners, anything from other teachers or from your house, or the children can bring in their treasures and you can put them in your maker space, because it's always great to have a maker space in the classroom. And then the children work in teams, and I would not have more than 3 people in a team. In fact, for the very young children, for kindergarten and first grade, I'd have teams of 2. In second and third grade, you can probably put 3 students together. But you want to make sure that everybody has a voice and everybody has an opportunity to present. So the most important thing is that you share something, and you really don't even need to connect literature to it, but in this instance, I'm going to recommend literature. So for example, I had one group one year, they used the nursery rhyme Little Miss Muffet, sat on a tuffet, eating her curds and whey. And the teacher read that to the students, and then she asked the students to create a way that would keep the spider away from Little Miss Muffet's tuffet, right? So here you can incorporate vocabulary. What's a tuffet? Something that they might not be familiar with. And it's a stool or a cushion that Little Miss Muffet sat on. And I had really creative things. I allowed the students to use the internet, and children are really good at using the internet, and they looked up, and some of the students looked up that spiders don't like certain oils like peppermint oil, clove oil. I don't really remember all the oils, but so they created a tuffet that was included some of these smells so that the spider would not come to Miss Muffet's tuffet. Really kind of creative things. One teacher used Jack and Jill. Jack and Jill went up the hill to fetch a pail of water. And the challenge was find a way for Jack and Jill to get the water down the hill without falling and tumbling and hurting themselves. And the students had lots of creative ideas. They created pulley systems. The teacher could engage with the students and talk about different systems. My glasses are still tilted. I can't wait for the eye doctor to open. And the children were really creative, and the teacher could facilitate all of these conversations. So once the students come up with a solution, they present their idea and their work to the group. One of the most challenging parts that teachers often say is to try to get the students to work as engineers and create a drawing, a visual drawing of their ideas. And children typically want to jump right in and get to the materials. So I suggest putting the treasure boxes, this is the materials that the students are going to be able to work with, aside, out of the student's view. And part of the process is to require them to render a drawing, to create a sketch of their idea or ideas that they want to try. This just gives them an opportunity to talk and brainstorm with each other. So you have to have a starting point, whether it's a story or a challenge. You have to have a clear idea of what that challenge might be. You have to have the criteria, right? So what are the parameters that the students must meet? And here are the kinds of things that you want to set up, that they have to have a drawing. They have to build, they have to work as a team and build something together to create. And you talk to students about, this is what engineers do. And what's really important in this process is that students begin to learn what engineering is all about, right? A lot of students go into engineering programs in college not understanding what engineering is all about, that you have to work in a team, you have to solve problems as a team, you have to be a member of that team, and you have to work on things that may take a long time to come to an end point, right? And this is really something that's very important for students to learn, that teamwork is critical. You have to provide the materials. So you have to decide what are the materials the students are going to be able to use. Some teachers will set kits for students. Here are the materials you can use. You can use nothing else. Some students will have a bunch of stuff, which I typically do, on the table for children: construction paper, tape, paper clips, all kinds of different things that they can use to create, right? So I try not to limit their creativity. And then the tools that they can use. So there's materials and tools. Tools are different from materials, and here's an opportunity to teach children the difference between tools and materials. The materials are things like paper and glue and string and tape and tissue paper and construction paper and paper clips and a stapler and staples. Those are the tool things. Would be like scissors and pencils and markers and crayons. Those are the tools that they use. And I guess you could probably put a stapler in as a tool. But again, this can be extended to a unit on simple machines. And you can incorporate that. So you can kind of see all the different areas that you can incorporate the engineering design brief. And you can use any piece of literature in this. So that's just a little sharing of some ideas about engineering design briefs. And I posted on the Moodle page, Children's Engineering. There's a great group in Virginia that focuses, they have a annual conference where teachers come together and share their ideas. I have taken many students to this conference where they have shared their ideas about working with children in engineering concepts. So have fun, look at the resources from Virginia's Children's Engineering Initiative. And this is a great way to create an interdisciplinary unit in your classroom. Have fun.